Hello once again. If you've ever owned, admired, or even just heard stories of the legendary Toyota MR2, then you already know that this car built its name around one thing: fun. It seems Toyota paid attention to that, as now, 2 decades after its original debut, Toyota seems ready to bring it back as a 2026 model year car. Now, my job is to tell you some really important things you need to know as this car makes its way back to the streets. So if you clicked on this video, you may want to remain until the very end. Let's begin with collaboration. Toyota's recent history with sports cars has been all about partnerships. You had Subaru helping with the GR86. BMW brought us the reborn Supra. So when it came to the MR2, everyone naturally thought, who's next? There have been whispers of a Porsche tie-in, even a co-developed platform with Mazda or Subaru, but if the latest information is anything to go by, Toyota seems to be taking a different approach this time. Sources suggest the 2026 MR2 may be riding on a platform designed entirely in-house by Toyota, with no major help from other automakers. But that doesn't necessarily mean Toyota's going at it completely alone. In fact, one of the biggest clues we've gotten so far is the GR Yaris M concept that debuted earlier in 2025. Though shaped like a Yaris, it houses a completely different layout. A mid-engine setup powered by a brand new 2.0-liter turbocharged engine. How do these two connect? Well, Toyota outrightly let it loose in Japan's Super Taikyu series, saying it was just a way to test new tech. But things get interesting when you hear rookie racing driver Hiroaki Ishihara casually call it an MR something. Akio Toyoda himself didn't deny it either. So even if this isn't a Porsche project, it's shaping up to be something far more special than copy of another car. Which moves us to what will really stand out in this car when it comes electric, hybrid, or pure petrol powered. If we're being honest, everybody's expecting electric. That's just the way the industry is moving. And when Toyota showed off the FTSC concept back in 2023, many assumed that was the future MR2 in EV form. It had all the cues: low-slung stance, battery-powered promise, and a futuristic flair. But here's something you may have missed from all the info flying around. You already know Toyota's been working on a brand new turbocharged 2.0-liter 4-cylinder engine. But what's even more interesting is that it's designed to support both mild and full hybrid systems. This could mean the MR2 comes not as an all-electric car, but something that blends combustion and electric power in a way we haven't really seen before in this category. And just to add more spice to that idea, Japanese reports claim this engine could produce up to 400 horsepower, easily enough to run side by side with the Cayman GTS or even a base C8 Corvette. In its most extreme form, like a motorsport version, it could even push towards 600 horsepower. But even in road legal trim, this engine is said to be tuned for efficiency, torque, and low emissions, with the flexibility to run different fuels. If you ask me, that's a really decent move by Toyota, one that safely secures the MR2's future in an old-school attitude. Really interesting considering the design they settled for this car, which is really what we're talking about next. But first, please like this video to help get it out there to more people like yourself, and consider subscribing to the channel if you think this video is being educative or informative to you thus far. Thank you for doing that. And aggressive by design. Now when it comes to looks, the 2026 MR2 is not a subtle one either. Ever since the FTC concept appeared, people have been closely watching to see which parts of that design make it to production. Let's just say this: it's not going to be a plain-looking car. From what we've gathered, it'll carry over much of the sharp body sculpting, flared arches, and deep aero detailing from the concept. So basically, expect a mid-engine silhouette that leans more toward exotic than economy. We're talking low nose, wide rear fenders, and possibly even some active aerodynamic elements like pop-up spoilers and track-ready diffusers. Toyota knows the MR2 needs to stand out, not just against rivals, but in a lineup of cars that already includes the aggressive GR Supra and GR86. So visually, this one might end up being the boldest of them all. Now for the inside experience. Toyota's Gazoo Racing division already made it clear: sports cars are meant to be driven, and we expect that same principle will shape the interior of the 2026 MR2. What this means is simple: don't expect a touchscreen loaded cabin with massage seats and ambient lighting. This car will likely stay true to its roots: compact, focused, and all about the driving. So instead of all that modern junk, what you should be expecting to see are race-inspired seats, a low seating position, a flat-bottom steering wheel, and a pared-back dash with analog-style digital readouts. We're also hearing that drivers might get to choose between a 6-speed manual transmission and a newly refined 8-speed torque converter automatic. This isn't a dual-clutch system, but if you've tried the latest GR Yaris Autobox, then you already know. It's really not a joke. It shifts fast, it's smart, and it's built for both the street and the circuits. Toyota seems determined to give the MR2 a real soul, one that doesn't just live in the specification sheet, but live in every corner, every shift, every turn of the wheel. Now, you're probably wondering, aren't you? The weight in the wallet. Yeah, that's everyone's big question: when and how much? While Toyota has yet to confirm anything officially, but according to most sources, the MR2 will be revealed sometime later this year, with production starting in mid-2026. If that happens, then expect deliveries should begin before the end of that 2026. That gives us less than 18 months to go before we finally see it in the metal. As for pricing, don't expect it to be in the bargain bin. The new MR2 is shaping up to be a halo car for Toyota's GR lineup, positioned above the GR86 and possibly even flirting with super territory. Early numbers suggest a base price between $60,000 to $65,000. And that might sound like a lot, until you realize it could come with close to 400 horsepower, all-wheel drive, a lightweight chassis made of aluminum and carbon-reinforced plastics, as well as a mid-engine layout. In that context, the MR2 won't just be like any sports car you've been driving up until this point. It'll basically be Toyota's way of showing you they still know how to build excitement. And speaking of excitement, I thought this might build you some. Go check it out.